Hi, I'm Amanda Carr. I'm from Ray White Townsville. I'm the Director of Property Management. Flash title just means Chief Problem Solver. I'm a career property manager. I've been in the industry for 40 years and currently lead a team of 16, and we have over 1,000 managements. Yesterday at Ready, Set, Go, I spoke about resilience. And first of all, I'd probably like to explain what I think resilience is. It's going back to work tomorrow, being on the high moral ground, and still being a human being at the end of the day. Some of my tips that I shared were tips to help you build some personal resilience around property management. It's a tough job. It's demanding, it's emotional, and there's always a lot of conflict, which some people take very personally. And if you can work on these tips, it will help you build a bit of a strategy on how to deal with those difficult situations. We all have resilience. We all have a story. We're all stronger than we think we are. But hopefully today I can share some things that will help you build up that muscle yourself. So number one, it's not personal. If you've not going to learn anything else from this little video today, I really hope you can take this one away. Life-changing. It's not personal. So nobody is actually doing anything to you. We've all been in that moment where why are they doing this to me? Why is this all happening to me? Why are they mean to me? It's such an empowered place to be. But if you actually just stop for a moment and take yourself out of that equation, you'll learn that it isn't about you. It's about the other person just doing them, you're doing you, and sometimes what they do can affect you. I always like to use this analogy of I'm on planet Mandy, you're on planet Susie, we're floating around in the universe, and sometimes bits of me fly off and hit you. I didn't do it on purpose, that's just the universe. So next time you're having that, why are they doing this to me? Why do I have all the shitty tenants? Why do I have all the bad landlords? Actually take yourself out of that moment, step back and have a look. Because normally that's coming because that person had an expectation that you couldn't meet. So number one, it's not personal. It's never about you. It's just about that other person doing them, trying to get through their day, through their life, just like you are. And sometimes that affects each other. So don't take it personally. Just deal with the issue. Number two, choose your attitude and wallowing. Choose your attitude is you all get to choose every day who you are today, how you're going to act today. And we all have bad days. And that is totally okay. You just need to own your behaviour. So if you're having a bad day, maybe go into the office and say, hey guys, I'm a bit sensitive today. Can you give me a bit of space? Or the easiest thing to do is go, you know what, I'm having a bit of a bad day, but I'm going to choose to have a better attitude. And most of the time, once you're faking it, it'll happen anyway. Wallowing. I heard this at a conference a fair few years ago and it's never left me. So be careful where you wallow, who you wallow with, and how long you wallow. It's okay to feel sorry for yourself. It's okay to have a bad day, but you can't get stuck there. Eventually, you have to choose your attitude, get out of the mud pond, and get on with life. Embrace change and be a problem solver. See challenge as an opportunity to learn, make change, or even improvements on how you do something. I think that if you're a property manager, you have to have a problem-solving mindset. You never bring the owner a problem, you have to give them the solution. And I think that that's the same for life. And I think when you're looking at issues, you need to step out of the emotion of it and just look at the issue and come up with the solution. I always love to talk about who moved my cheese when I talk about embracing change and being a problem solver. Change happens in teams and in businesses all the time. New legislation, new team members, a new office, a new process, buying a new rent roll and merging it into yours. Change happens every day, and it's how you react to change is how if you're going to be stressed or not. So if you haven't read the book, Who Moved My Cheese, I strongly recommend that you go and get a copy and share it as a team. But Who Moved My Cheese is about the maze of life. And there's two little mice and two little humans called He and Haw. And they go into the maze every day and they look for cheese. One day, they find cheese station C. Oh, it's fabulous. Everything's there. The little mice, they're happy with that. They've got a bit of stability. But little he and haw, they make a whole life around the cheese. They buy houses, they go on holidays, they've got plans. And one day they go into the maze and the cheese station's gone. The little mice, they go, oh, that's a bummer. But that's all right. We'll put our runners on and we're going to run through the maze and look for new cheese. He and haw didn't. They sat and wallowed for a little while going, well, I had plans on that cheese. That was my cheese. I don't want new cheese. Why do I have to get new cheese? Then they started thinking, well, what are we going to do? And then they were like, he says to haw, let's go in the maze. Let's put our runners on and look in the maze. And haw says, oh no, what if something bad happens? What if there's no more cheese? So, you'll starve to death if you don't go looking for the cheese. So I always hope that when issues happen and change happens, I try and look at it like the little mice with my runners on, than he and haw sitting and being stuck in the moment of fear and thinking change is a bad thing. So remember who moved my cheese. Catch some fish. The fish philosophy is a whole program that's been built around team building and attitude. I've applied it to my life for probably the last 17 years. When my kids were little, they got made watch the video till they could read the book, and then they got made read the book once a year. It's got 4 key components to it, which are choose your attitude, which we've already talked about, choosing who you want to be today. Be there, be in the moment. This is a really big one, both as a parent and as a boss. Life-changing if you actually put this into practice in your life. We all get busy. Property managers, we're thinking about yesterday, tomorrow, next week. We've always got a lot of things on our plate. And so next time, so as a boss, I found that for a lot of time there, I would have staff coming in. I had 2,500 properties, 30 staff. Someone was always asking me a question, and I was never in the moment. I was always thinking about what I'd just done, what I had going, the next phone call. Somebody would come in and talk to me, wouldn't ask me if that was the right moment. They would just come in and share their problem. And I would be, yeah, off you go. Yep, that sounds great. And then in half an hour's time, when I actually caught up with that conversation, I would go, oh, wait a minute. What did we talk about? What did I just say yes to? So then I'd have to go and find the person and waste another half an hour of my day rehashing that conversation and making sure that I'd given them the right advice. So being in the moment meant that I stopped. They'd say, Mandy, is this a good time? Yes, it is. Come on in. Or no, give me 5 minutes. Or can you come back in half an hour and I'll be able to be here with you? But actually being in the moment, listening to what they were talking about and being present. As a mum, I have 4 children all growing up and now, but as little kids, sometimes, I would go to work, I would be busy all day talking to 100 people. I'd come home, I was still at work, my head was still there, and I wasn't with them. We feel guilty sometimes as working mums and we think our kids want 8 hours of our time, but they don't really. If you give them 20 minutes of one-on-one contact, get on the floor, play with them, be in the moment with them, it can be really life-changing and really helps you build better relationships with your employees, your friends, your partner, and your kids. So if I can give you a challenge, practice being in the moment. Make their day. We hear a lot of this nowadays about, paying it forward, buying somebody a coffee, paying for this. It's not about money. Make their day is actually just doing something that makes somebody feel good. Now that could be that, you return a phone call before you said you would. You do something generous to somebody. You say hello to the old lady in front of you at Woolworths. She might be the only person that she's talked to in 2 weeks. That's what make their day is. Spending time with them, giving yourself to somebody else. So make their day and find time to play. This is a big one in life, I think. We're told from very young that we're not allowed to play. Once you start school, it's do the homework, go and play the sport, do the extra curricular activities that you've got organised. Stop mucking around, take it a bit more serious. Then you turn into a teenager and they're telling you, what do you want to do for the rest of your life when you're 15? I'm the antichrist to guidance counsellors, because I always tell young people it's okay to not know what you want to be forever. Just do something. So finding time to play. And as an adult, when are we ever given the opportunity to really play and not take ourselves so seriously? So, you know, I shared yesterday my story of that there is in Townsville, down near the ocean, there is a big park with a sloping green hill. And a few years ago, I spontaneously decided that I was going to roll down the hill. And just a few weeks ago, we were driving along the street and I said to my husband, remember that time I got out and rolled down the hill? And he was like, yes. I said, I think we should do that today. So we got out of the car and I'm rolling down this hill and I could see people going, what is that woman doing, throwing herself on the ground? But it was to have a laugh and not take yourself so seriously. So, find time to play. Put some play in your day. Don't laugh at something. Laughing yoga is a great fun thing to do. If you don't know how to do it, Google it and take it, because it's very hard to take yourself too serious when you're having a laugh. The other things that I wanted to say was that how I think values and personal boundaries are really important to building resilience. If you give yourself to everybody all of the time and you don't align yourself to your values, it's going to be very hard to build a resilience muscle. So know your values. Who are you? What's important to you? What are your personal boundaries that you're not prepared to negotiate on? As a team, come up with your values for the team. And values make it really hard to make hard decisions. So you can go, we've got this client and they're being really difficult. But when you think about it, do they align with the team's values? Because if they don't, once again, hard to deal with. I use it for recruitment. I can teach anybody anything, but I can't change who they are. And if their values don't align with our team values or my values, then it's going to be not a nice arrangement for either party. So the Ray White Townsville team worked on this as a team session, and we've got our values plastered all over the office, and we come back to them at least 4 times a year. And it can't be, I practice kindness. So our values are kindness, discipline, accountability, honesty, and empathy. Do we deal with the client with kindness? Do we have discipline in our processes and in our job and ourselves? Are we accountable for when we make a mistake and take ownership of that and fix it? Are we honest? Do not fib if you're a property manager. And empathy. We all know the difference between sympathy and empathy. And empathy is just actually putting yourself in that person's shoes and understanding where they are. I heard this great analogy from a social worker, psychologist that came to our office. And she said, empathy and conflict is where the person is lost on the mountain. And if they're lost, you can't just yell at them and go, hey, come over here, I'm over here. You have to go to where they are on the mountain, sit with them for a moment, and then bring them to where you want them to be. So I think that that's how you can put empathy into a conflict situation. So I wanted to also quickly talk about growth, because in property management, sometimes that's looked at as a kind of a bit of a dirty word to the property manager. But growth is really important. Without growth means you don't get paid and you don't get opportunities. So make sure you plan for it, you have a process for it, the team's ready for it, and you celebrate the wins. How did we put all of this to practice in my team, who are a young team, mostly under 25, 18 of them. One of them was values. Like I said, we practice them, we come back to them, we talk about them. How did we actually use kindness when we were dealing with this situation, etc. Gratefulness. We practice gratefulness in our office every week in the meeting. 3 things I'm grateful for. New staff kind of sometimes look at us and go, have I joined some kind of, cult? But no, it's just about actually taking yourself out of that moment and appreciating what opportunities and what is good in your life. Play and fun. Don't take every moment seriously. If it's getting too serious, maybe you need to find the fun fairy in your team, or just step back. Take a moment. We're very lucky. I've got a couple of really crazy young girls and also an older lady that's got the biggest belly laugh in the world. Supporting each other. That means management supports them. They support each other. The process supports them. Admin supports them. And the IT is a help, not a hindrance. Personal development. We've worked really hard with our team to make them better people. not about teaching them press that button, that's the legislation. Of course we do that, but a lot of our training is on personal development and leadership. Leaders who care and show consistency. So I hope that helps you a little bit with building some resilience. Resilience a muscle. You have to practice it, you have to train it, and you have to develop it. So be grateful, it's not personal, and choose your attitude. Thanks for listening, and I hope you have a great day.